Welcome to Reflections, a program where we discuss values and virtues for the transformation of the individual and the society in general. I am Father George Ehusani, and I have with me in the studio today Professor Moses Z. Zaruwa, right?
My pleasure.
Professor Zaruwa, you're welcome to the studio.
My pleasure, Father.
Professor Zaruwa is former Vice Chancellor, Adamawa State University. He is acting Vice Chancellor, Prime University in Kuje, near Abuja. And he is a professor in the Department of Biochemistry, Nasarawa State University. He's also supporting us at the Psychospiritual Institute of Luke's Terra Leadership Foundation, because in addition to being a professor of pharmacology, he is also a clinical psychologist. So, Prof, you're welcome.
Thank you, Father.
Being a clinical psychologist and having worked more than half of your life with students, I like us to discuss the widespread scandal all over the place today, whether it's leadership scandal, the lack of leadership integrity in this country, from north to south, east to west, from local government level to the presidency. At every level, young people are daily assaulted with news. I mean, what goes on social media, with news of one scandal after the other. You work in schools, you work with young people. What is the impact of this widespread leadership scandal, the lack of integrity? I will even say leadership debauchery. What is the impact on young people? As a psychologist yourself, what would you say is the psychological impact on young people? And then, is there something that can be done about it? The leadership debauchery, the reality of leadership debauchery in this country and its impact on our young people. How would you address that?
Thank you, Father. To just go straight to the question you've asked, I don't think it's anything good for our youths. It is unfortunate that everything that the young people hear on the social media, in the news, is all about something negative. I just want to bring in some issues. For instance, while I was growing up, all I was told was pass exams. We were asked to work hard, pass our exams in the primary school.
And the future will be wonderful.
And the future will be fantastic. If we go to the secondary school, we want to be among the first three. We were told to pass exams, go to the university, bag degrees, come out and get jobs. And of course, with our jobs, we should be able to buy houses and cars, which are indicators of success in Nigeria. But the story is completely the reverse. It's a pity that the youths of this generation have found themselves in these problems. It's as if everything they were ever told was a lie.
As if all they were told is a lie.
Yes. The issue of hard work. From the time I left school, most of us were out there trekking from place to place, looking for jobs. And every individual, especially in my own generation, my classmates, or just plus minus two.
Your generation, yes.
Yes, will tell you horror tales of what they had to go through to get jobs that barely paid their bills.
And you were told when you were growing up that if you can just do well in school.
Yes.
And many of you did well in school.
You see, there was a story. Some professor once said that the youth of these days don't have skills and stuff like that. I said, no. We were not told to acquire skills. Those who acquired skills in our time were those who dropped out to go and learn mechanic, carpentry, or other things because they could not meet up. But now, the reverse is the case. It's as if our own elders really did not have a full grasp of what really the future holds for this country. Yes, they misdirected.
So even the manner in which education was conceived.
Yes, certainly.
The white collar kind of education for white collar jobs is no longer delivering.
At all. You see, fortunately I schooled in Asia and the difference is very, very clear. What I did in Asia was PhD pharmacy. I did a lot of lab work both in Thailand and in Japan. Up till this very moment, even when I became a professor of 7 years, I've not still been able to employ 5% of what I was taught there. Why? Nothing seems to be working. We just have to make do. Now, when you compare with other countries, as at the time I was a PhD student in Thailand, the president of Thailand, the prime minister, Abhisit Vichacheva, holds a master's degree from Oxford, holds a master's degree from Cambridge. Meanwhile, it's like the Thais look for their best brains to lead them.
That's the point.
They look for, of course, when you check Europe, they look for their best brains. Look at when Obama was in power. Obama had a bachelor's of law and had a professorial chair at Harvard. So these people value education. But we have not seen that in Nigeria. Because it's as if those who must grab or occupy leadership position, policy position in Nigeria are only people who have muscle. Muscle in money.
Who can fight on the streets.
Exactly. So then, what then is the outcome of the education we've acquired in Nigeria? Nigeria today has 274 universities. And you don't see the teachers, you don't see the educated ones living above board. Everybody, most of them, are just begging. Even going to those who they are supposed to employ them or to give them something to augment what they are being paid. So, the message to the present day youths is a complete zero.
So, the adult society has sold a dummy to the young people.
That's exactly what it is, unfortunately. That is exactly what
and then the 270 or so universities we are talking about, unfortunately, they continue to replicate the same things. Every university seems to be teaching the same thing.
Exactly. You go to every university, of course, we are controlled with one curriculum from the NUC. And that curriculum is being replicated by every other university. Now, NUC came up with a scheme sometime last year or thereabout with a CC mask. Asked every university to improvise some courses to what they have been given. Now, I wonder how that will work, where you have not still equipped the universities with equipment.
Let us say
science.
The well-equipped labs to make, for example, you are in pharmacology.
Yes.
To make for you people to be able to develop drugs and produce the drugs and process it and get what do you call this licenses? Get patents for it.
We are just there dragging ourselves, pulling each other, not getting the required encouragement, not getting the required funding. I mean, every year you hear about ASU. ASU is always going on strike. Now, ASU is going on strike. Why? Instead of Nigerians you see, Nigerians are even part of the problem. If only the educated elites in this country look at what is happening outside, ASU should not be going on strike. The main reason why ASU is going on strike, if you always check, there is issue of welfare. To tell you that the most educated are the least paid in Nigeria. So, if that is happening, why should youths go to school? Why do you punish them? I told someone before, I said my job description is teaching, research, and community service. Unfortunately, there is a fourth one now. And that fourth, I don't know how to coin it, but in teaching, research, and community service, I still try to encourage the youth and tell them that there is still hope. But if they ask me directly, was there hope when you were a student? And up to this very moment, have you found that hope? I will not know what to tell them.
So the fourth one is mentoring.
Well, mentoring and telling them to be patient. Find a word for it.
Mentoring in a life of meaning, helping them to find a life of
meaning. Exactly.
And what you are saying is that it's a difficult task when you yourself are having crisis of meaning yourself.
Exactly.
Now, while all that is happening in the educational sector that we have described, politics is thriving.
Yeah.
Politics is the most thriving sector in the Nigerian economy.
Yes.
Those who go into politics become millionaires overnight.
Overnight, that's true.
Good. And then we hear of massive corruption. Massive corruption. I mean, we have people who are, let's say, those to exercise oversight over government parastatals.
Yeah.
We hear stories of them asking for bribe asking for their cut here and there. We even hear in recent times, there is some research about even the administration in universities, public universities, the level of rot, not to talk of the rot in government institutions. And I'm saying, what is the impact of all this on the young people?
You see, Father, when the truth is relegated to the back seat, I don't think one should feel or hope that something good is going to come out.
If truth is relegated.
Yes. What used to be fact, truth, has now been changed, whereby falsehood is now the norm. There have been cases whereby someone sat down, looked at what was happening in the university, checked, investigated, and found a lot of rot. He lost his job just for questioning. Even a situation whereby examination ethics were compromised and you question it, you find out that those you'll be expecting to even come and stand and say, no, this person is actually doing something to help us. No, they change. So there's a lot of rhetorics here and there.
When criminality is now on the throne.
Certainly. That's exactly where we are. You just need to try as much as possible, pray to your God, and try to stay out of trouble. But if you are expecting some help from somewhere, that these people will stand with you, or this body will stand with you, to be able to beam or broadcast what the fact you believe in, no, you will not get it. It's gone.
How did we get here?
That is a question I should ask your generation.
I mean, how did we get here? Because the people you are describing now,
yes,
they are Muslims, they are Christians.
Yes.
Until today, they are still practicing. It's not like Thailand. It's not like that.
I don't think pagans steal money.
They are practicing. They are going to mosque. They are going to church.
Yes.
That's why I say, how did we get here? Is it that we as a people we decided to throw away completely any sense of ethics, any sense of morality?
In my own opinion, I think from the beginning, all was wrong. But people did not see it. Because one of my instructors, one time at Flower Mills Training School in Lagos, once said that in their time, they had the best of everything in the universities. They ate chicken, half chicken with 50 kobo.
Oh, yes.
Their clothes were laundered for them. There was light, there was everything. Now, unfortunately, he referred to us as half-baked. This was some 30 years ago. And I said, but sir, if you got all those things, we will be expecting that fathers will try to make the bed better for their children. So he said, well, we want you to come and help. I said, no, we cannot help what we did not participate in. The issue here is there were a lot of things that were wrong from the very beginning. And people really pretended that all was good. And it has come down to this level. In my own time, we were 4 in a room. Meanwhile, the room was meant for 2. Now, it's probably 10. And even feeding, it's a problem. I'll tell you, I'm not proud to tell you, I'm not proud to say what I'm going to say now. There are times whereby students in school will come and beg you for money to feed. You only have to help them, because if you really understand what it takes to be in the school, you will do whatever you can for them. So these issues cannot be simply, you cannot just directly say this is where it started. No, but to be certain, to be factual, it's actually from the very beginning. So,
what can where we are now, we are at a bind, as it were. What can we do? I mean, you talked about giving hope to young people. You talked about even making personal sacrifices to give young people money to eat, and so on and so forth. What can we do to turn the bend, to make a change for this country? Because this is our home. We have no other country. this is where we can best flourish. And you are every day with young people. As a professor, as a administrator in a university, and so on, what can we do today? Let's say within your sphere of influence as professors in the universities, as parents, what can be done?
Well, the first thing, sincerely, is we must tell ourselves the truth.
We must tell ourselves the truth.
And we must accept truth to be truth, even if it hurts us. Because a situation whereby a truth is defined only by a particular system and not being sacrosanct, then we are just fooling ourselves. If it is white, let us all call it white, and let all of us come out and stand for what is white. You see, people these days, I was just going to tell you something. You talked about politicians and politics. While I was in Japan, I saw a campaign. It was just about 3 or 4 cars while I was walking from my house to the train station. Fortunately, I had a Japanese friend, and I now asked, what is this person talking? What is happening? He said, he's campaigning for political position. And they were just about 4 with 2 cars. Meanwhile, in Nigeria here, even if you want to contest for councillorship, the whole world will come out. It tells you that these people are serious-minded. I'm not saying the politics is not a serious game. It is. But you see, these people have jobs, they have a focus. And how dare you commit a quarter of the crimes that are committed in Nigeria here politically? You only go home and commit harakiri because the public will come out and reject you. Now, this is why I don't blame our politicians for whatever is happening.
There are no sanctions.
There are no sanctions. And moreover, the people have shown that they are identifying with such falsehood and scams. Because if they are not identifying with these things, they will come out en massively and protest against them.
So, is it that you agree with that terrible saying that the people get the kind of leadership they desire?
Exactly. It's a fact. There's no two way about it. If somebody steals in an office and it is publicized that this person stole in an office, people will come out and protest that this person should not occupy the office again. You definitely will not go against the people's will. We saw on TV, somewhere in East Europe, a man who calls himself a minister in government. They came out after he was met with scam or pilfered with public money. They came to, not that they didn't kill him, they didn't beat him, but to show that he has been rejected. They came en masse, carried him and put him in a dustbin. I stand to be corrected. It's still there on the internet. But in Nigeria, we only sit there and say, what will we do? Or God will help. And it's a situation whereby it's like the people, just like distinguished Senator Dilo Mela said one time. He said, the number of those waiting to steal is even more than those who are stealing. Which means, why Nigerians are quiet is because
they are waiting for their turn to steal.
Exactly.
Now, is it that, by your own assessment, is it that Nigerians cannot see the cause and effect relationship between our misbehavior, our criminality, our debauchery, our widespread thievery? Is it that we cannot see the cause and effect relationship between this widespread thievery and lack of sincerity and rejection of truth and what we are suffering now? Is it that Nigerians can't see it?
I think so, yes. Because if actually they can see it, and if they actually appreciate what is being taught, even in the religious institutions, Christianity, Islam, they will not accept such things. But they cannot see beyond. Exactly. Because what everybody just believes is money in my pocket, and that's all. Whether people are dying or not, which is very, very unfortunate. And it's really unlike people who claim to be religious.
Is this some kind of blindness? You know, the Bible says, my people die for lack of knowledge. Is it some kind of blindness that people cannot see, for example, that where we are now with the rot in the land, that we cannot continue for long like this?
Well, I don't know if it's blindness. I don't know where blindness starts and ignorance continues.
Well, but ignorance and blindness are synonymous, really.
Well, so I think it's both fused together. Because if a typical Nigerian knows the damage that is being done by a societal thief, the damage being done to the entirety of that community, I don't think he or she will really want to sit down and wait for his or her turn. Because when the slightest things that happen is that people are easily deceived on ethnic or religious sentiments, which ordinarily should not be so. Nigerians, we are supposed to be educated people. I mean, in the whole of West Africa or Africa, we have the highest of all institutions, but you don't even see the education in our attitude, which is very, very painful.
I keep wondering whether there is a virus that infects somebody once he gets into leadership position in corporations, in government, whether there is a virus. Because I can't understand that we cannot see that we can't get far with the way our conduct.
No, it's not a virus per se. A society that does not question where you get wealth from accepts theft or scams. A society that does not question, for instance, you said when somebody gets into public office, he becomes a multimillionaire overnight. Now, and he lives in a society that does not question how did you get that money. You know, if a society like that will definitely not correct anything. This is a fact.
So Nigerians, the challenge is thrown back at you. I mean, you live in a society, you live in a community, you live in an estate, and you know that this person had next to nothing, and he gets into some public office, and overnight he becomes a multimillionaire. It is your responsibility.
Certainly.
It is our responsibility to raise questions, to ask questions. Otherwise, that insult, I call it an insult. When I first heard it, I said, no, it's not my portion. When they say people get the kind of leadership they deserve. And then when I look at the kind of leadership that we have here and there in this country, and I ask myself, do I deserve this kind of leadership?
No.
Now, I don't think I deserve this kind. But if we insist that we don't deserve this kind of leadership, then we must do something.
Certainly.
We must do something to reject what is not in our character, so that we don't have thieves running our affairs. Right now, we like have a bunch of criminals running our affairs, and they appear to be okay with us. And what Prof is saying is that with that, it means that each person is just waiting for his turn. How can we have a society of rogues and thieves and criminals? It will not work well. It will collapse. So, what do you have to say, especially to the young people, your last word to the young people in this country?
Well, my juniors, it's a pity where we found ourselves. In as much as we still pray to God or pray to Allah, we should try to open our hearts and see that before we were created or before we were born, God knew where we find ourselves. There's no gainsaying that our elders actually have disappointed us. They failed us. Because this is not the Nigeria we were promised when we were coming up as children. Unfortunately, we found ourselves in this quagmire. My candid advice is we should sit down and talk to ourselves. Chart a new course. And if we want to envy any group or country or people, we should be envious of people who have standard, people who believe in the truth, people who stand for each other, people who believe that a touch to one is a touch to everybody, or an affront to one is an affront to everybody. People who really see that there is hope when merit is considered first in choosing leadership. This is my candid advice. Anything outside this, it's all going to be fallacy, it's going to be falsehood.
So each one of us, we have a responsibility. If those of us in the older generation have let young people down, young people can take their country back.
That's it.
In many societies that have been transformed, a major factor is young people.
Yes.
It is the youths, including students. that have worked hard to take their country back. We cannot sit back. Nigerians are good at complaining. We cannot sit back constantly complaining while our country is going down the drain. On this note, I will bring this discussion to an end. I have been speaking to Professor Moses Z. Zaruwa, Professor of Pharmacology in the Department
Biochemical Pharmacology.
Okay, Biochemical Pharmacology. We need you to start producing a lot of drugs. I hope you are working on patents.
I have one patent now.
Hey, thank God you have one patent now.
Yes.
For what kind of drug?
It's for the cure of necrotizing fasciitis and stubborn wounds.
Stubborn wounds.
Yes, like people who have diabetic foot ulcer have been able to cure all that with, and also bed sores and some kind of boils. I've been able to.
And you have put through the patent for
the patent has been accepted in the name of Nasarawa State University.
Wow! Yes. Congratulations.
Thank you, Father.
This is what we are talking about. Make our education functional. Let there be a relationship between the town and the gown, so that every professor, what the name professor, there is something you discover. You know. On this note, we bring this program to an end. Let us go, each one of us, to do what we can do with this kind of patent. You are contributing to the economy, big time. Yeah. And may the Lord help our young people, our smart young people. They have a lot to offer.
Sure.
And then the older generation, those of us who have told this part, I keep saying we need to apologize to our children. We need to apologize to say we could have done better. And allow our young people now to come up and lead the country in a better path. God bless you.
Thank you, Father.
Thank you.